Hey all, Bree from the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I have got a gift for you this holiday season. If you love the No Guilt Mom podcast, and I mean love the No Guilt Mom podcast, then tell us about it. Leave us a review, and you can be entered to win a No Guilt Mom gift card. All you have to do is leave a review, take a screenshot, and then simply go to noguiltmom.com/review to enter our giveaway for a free No Guilt Mom gift card, simply for telling us what you think about the podcast. It is amazing. But don't delay. Get right on this, as we're going to be giving away that No Guilt Mom gift card on December 21st. So get right on over and visit noguiltmom.com/review.
Welcome to the No Guilt Mom podcast. I am your host, Joanne Crone, and I'm joined here by my silly co-host, Bree Tucker.
Why, hello, everybody. How are you?
Who's currently making faces at me on the other side of the camera. Bree and I aren't together in studio today because of, COVID.
It's sad. I know. I miss really my partner.
Sad. I know. I miss you too.
This is not easy. I have to admit, it's a lot harder to figure out how to time yourself. And so hats off to people that do this separately, but also hats off to Joanne, because I'm not a serious person. So it was my goal to try to make her laugh, and you did a good job. I was over here
thank you.
Crossing my eyes, rolling my tongue. This is our second take. I was dancing the first time. So, whatever it takes.
we're a little I don't want to say off our game, because I think it's good just to roll with situations. It's good as parents, it's good just as general people. You can't have everything perfect all the time, and that's okay. And during the course of this podcast interview that we have with our phenomenal guest Katie Hurley,
I know.
I didn't do my sound checks, and I thought I was doing the entire interview with my headphones in my ears and on the correct mic, and turns out no, it wasn't. So might sound a little echoey if you hear my voice and you're like, oh, she sounds like she's in a tunnel. That's because it's 2020.
Yeah, it'll just be a little bit of a different podcast, but seriously, Katie, oh my gosh.
Katie is amazing, and really, it's all about her anyway. It is not about me. So she has perfect audio.
She has perfect audio, and she has amazing information, because you know what? Again, hashtag 2020, things have been so stressful. There's so much going on, and the information that she shared with us, it took every part of me not to just completely jump in and interrupt her while she was talking on the interview, because there was a point where she was giving us information on how you could tell if it's more than just a little bit of anxiety, how you could tell the difference on things. And she talked about some physical signs, and I'm like, yes, that stuff has been happening in my family over the past couple of weeks. And I kept telling myself in the back of my head, maybe it's that, but maybe it's not. We're doing good. We're doing good. Christmas is going to make, because for those that don't know, we're recording this right around Christmas right now. So it's okay, Christmas is going to make it all better. It's all going to be, we're not stressed.
No, I think Christmas just adds another layer of stress. At least it does to me. But what I love is that, we at No Guilt Mom, we want to make you love being a mom again. And sometimes something that gets in the way is this worry and this fear that something is going on with our kids, and we might not be seeing the signs, or we might be making too big of a deal out of a situation, and then not take any action on it. And what Katie tells us in this podcast, she tells us 3 things to look for, and also how to know whether it's something more serious that you need some additional support on. So I love that. And I think that you listening to this podcast, you are going to get so much out of Katie's talk, and she just has a wealth of information.
It's a resource that I think we all need right now, because in a regular year, there's a better chance that you could have had an interaction with somebody, or been able to talk with somebody and find out more information about stress, or been able to see something that was happening. And it's hard. 2020 is making your normal go-tos a little bit harder. So
it's really hard.
Having Katie as a resource I feel like it's just huge. I wish I had a better word than huge, but it's huge.
It's huge. So Katie Hurley is a licensed clinical social worker. She's the author of 4 books, including A Year of Positive Thinking for Teens, which looks like a phenomenal book, and award-winning No More Mean Girls. She's also a child and adolescent psychotherapist and a speaker, which 2020 has put a wrench in for speaking. And she's a mother of 2 kids. We hope that you enjoy our conversation with Katie. And let's get on with the show. You want mom life to be easier. That's our goal too. Our mission is to raise more self-sufficient and independent kids, and we're going to have fun doing it. We're going to help you delegate and step back. Each episode will tackle strategies for positive discipline, making our kids more responsible and making our lives better in the process. Welcome to the No Guilt Mom Podcast. Welcome to the podcast, Katie. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
And okay, so I just have to bring this up really quickly because I saw something really exciting is happening for you, that you just signed up for a doctoral program.
I did. I know. I mean, what a bizarro time to do this, right? But I figured it's been all these years I keep applying and pushing it off, and there's never going to be a good time. So why not when the world is upside down?
Why not 2020? Yeah.
Yeah. It's the whole hashtag 2020. It's the year of unexpected.
Right.
Definitely. So for those people who don't know you, tell them a little bit about you and what you do.
So I'm a child and adolescent psychotherapist, and I split my time between Los Angeles and Connecticut, coastal Connecticut, where I grew up. And I have 2 kids, a 14-year-old daughter and a 12-year-old son. And I predominantly spend my days working with kids. I switched to all virtual in March, which was strange, but I've always done a little bit of virtual therapy for some of my teenagers because they can be hard to track down in person on a good day. So it wasn't too hard of a transition. And I write books. I've written 4 books in 5 years, 2 for teens, 2 for parents. And I write a lot of articles and get to talk to fun people like you guys on podcasts and stuff. And I don't know, I'm just always busy trying to help the world be just a little bit better.
I think that is a great goal, to help the world be just a little bit better. And I love your books, especially the ones for kids, like A Year of Positive Thinking for Teens. That's a book that I would have loved to have as a teen.
When I was writing it, that's exactly what I was thinking, was I needed something like this. And, you know, we do so much telling teens how to act, but that we don't give them enough resources that they can just use on their own, independently at their own pace. So I wanted to create a couple of resources for them where they could just grab it when they need it, but not feel like it's some prescriptive program they have to follow.
Oh, yeah. I have a 12 and a 13-year-old right now, and I can feel that so strongly because whenever they have an issue, no matter how I try to offer them support or resources, it's like, no, I got to do it on my own, mom. And so, yeah, that's so important that it come from that place where it's at their own pace. And it's also just take it or don't, but it's here.
So 2020 has been a stressful year for really everybody. But now as parents, we're kind of seeing some signs in our kids, and maybe seeing signs before 2020 even, that cause us concern. Signs that we're not sure if we're in, like, how to interpret them, as if they are just stress or if it's something bigger like depression or anxiety. So what are some signs that parents can look for to kind of show us that our kids are struggling right now and need some more support?
Well, first of all, it's really important for parents to know that we know that anxiety and depression were on the rise among adolescents 12 and up pre-pandemic. So we knew those numbers were starting to climb. There's a lot of different reasons for that, a lot of different factors that go into both of those things. And then during the pandemic, we don't have absolute perfect data because scientific studies take a long time to do, but we do have survey data. And we do know that teens in particular are experiencing a lot of stress, as are young children. Disruptions to schooling and all kinds of things have been weighing on our kids pretty heavily. So I say to parents all the time, I mean, right now we're all living under this collective chronic stress. So it's really difficult to weed out, well, what's a mental disorder versus what's a pandemic, right? What's our everyday living now? Our lives are upside down. Everything has changed, and everything changed overnight. They went to school one day, and then it was the weekend, and then they never went to school again for a long time in a lot of places. Now, some states are slowly getting kids back to school, but not full time, and then schools are closing if there are positive cases and reopening. So it's just a lot of up and down.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. It is so hard to raise kids who know how to manage money. Bree, right now, my kids are all about earning money for presents. My daughter wants to get presents for all of her friends, and my son is doing a Secret Santa with his friends.
Oh, I hear you. And if you're looking to raise kids that are financially responsible, we have got a lifesaver recommendation for you that you need to check out. It is Greenlight. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families that gives kids and teens an easy and fun way to gain financial literacy, all while giving parents peace of mind.
You can send instant money transfers, automate allowance, and even keep an eye on kids' spending with real-time notifications. Meanwhile, your kids can begin their journey towards financial autonomy by learning how to save, invest, and spend wisely.
So sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/NGM.
That's greenlight.com/NGM to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/NGM. We're hitting that time of year where my brain gets so overloaded in December that I look for anything to make life easier. And I have to say, Bree, that Green Chef is one of those services.
Yes, Green Chef is there to take away the dreaded, oh my goodness, what are we going to eat for dinner tonight? You can eat clean all holiday long with over 80 weekly meal options each week, featuring things like quick and easy, protein-packed, calorie-smart, or my personal favorite, the keto options.
And you don't have to lose track of healthy eating habits during the holidays because every Green Chef customer gets a free session with one of their registered dietitians who can walk you through how to make clean eating work for you, which is very cool.
And I have to say that I have been loving their recipes lately. They put things together I have never thought of. This week, we're trying the lemon basil caper pork with sauteed cauliflower, bell peppers, almonds, and feta cheese, my favorite. Their recipes make it so easy to support my wellness goals without skipping on flavor.
For Green Chef's best deal of the year, get $250 off with code NGM250 at greenchef.com/NGM250. That's greenchef.com/NGM250. And don't forget to use that code NGM250 to get $250 off.
Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
It's just a lot of up and down. So, the first thing that we often see, whether it's anxiety, depression, or even just general chronic stress, is sleeplessness. Teenagers will have insomnia where they have trouble falling asleep at night. Younger kids might fall asleep because they're so worn out from the day only to wake during the night and then have trouble falling back asleep again. You want to be keep an eye out for changes in eating habits, changes in social habits. Now, this is a hard one right now because we're not letting kids do their normal daily things, but if they're really not wanting to connect with their peers, even on Roblox or Snap or Insta or whatever their app of choice at the moment, if they're just pulling away from all that stuff and saying, no, I just want to be alone, I don't want to deal with this, that's kind of a big red flag. So I say to parents all the time, your kid's the best. And I know because there's so much information on the internet these days, and you can look up like literally anything and get pummeled with conflicting information on it. It's confusing to be a parent right now. So we look outward and we try to gather as much info as we possibly can, but hit the pause on that because your kid's the best. So if your child is normally pretty hopeful and talkative and putting themselves out there, and suddenly they're shutting down left and right and you just can't engage, trust your gut reaction.
So what I'm hearing you saying, Katie, is that the signs that we as parents should be looking for in our kids is that sleeplessness, the changes in eating habits, and not wanting to engage socially with their friends, whether it be like through Roblox or online or anything like that.
Right. Those are definitely big changes that should kind of cue something in you that, hey, something's not right here.
So that would be kind of the difference between just the chronic stress that we're living under and the anxiety where we do need to seek additional support for.
Yeah, it's hard right now because chronic stress causes all sorts of similar symptoms like stomach aches and headaches. Those are very real. Parents will say to me all the time, like, well, are they just faking it? Are they just faking it so they don't have to log into their Zoom class because they're tired of learning online? And they're really not. I mean, stress causes headaches, it causes stomach aches, it causes neck aches, all kinds of muscle aches. But so do anxiety and depression. So what we look at is the intensity. If you're just feeling like, oh, I have a mild stomach ache, I just don't feel right, I feel unsettled, that's probably stress causing those things. But if day by day you're struggling to get out of bed, to talk to people, even in your family, to socialize, the stomach aches are so intense that you feel like you can't move, that's something bigger than stress.
That's good to know, because like I see those signs in both myself and I see those signs in my kids where stomach aches are a big one for parents, because they're so general that you just don't know what you can do about them. Like if it's their eating or if it's their stress, we have no clue. So I like that you give us a guide that it's kind of the intensity of the situation. And that's really what we need to pay attention to.
For sure.
So what are some things that parents can do right now to reduce this risk of depression and anxiety in their kids?
The biggest thing that kids of all ages are telling me over and over again is they just want to connect with their parent. And kids do a really good job of giving you opposite reactions. So what parents will say is, well, I'm trying, and they're shoving me out of their room, or they're saying I'm fine, whatever, and they're walking away. And they do that.
Wait, are you at my house all the time? Because this is exactly what happens when I try to connect with my daughter.
Right. And I always say I'm fine, whatever is code for I'm not fine, everything's bad, I don't know how to say it, and I'm going to storm away and expect you to follow me. So, you know, they're looking for parents to just sit with them and listen. I think the biggest mistake we all make, and I'm super guilty of it because I've got 10,000 answers for every kind of problem because of what I do for a living, is we want to solve the problem. We want to come in with strategies, and we've learned mindfulness, and we're doing all the right things, and we're going to teach them, you know, but our strategies are not always what they need in their moment of helplessness. So most often what they want is for us to just listen to them and empathize with them and say, yeah, this really stinks. Everything's hard and everything stinks, and I get it. And I didn't have to go to school in a time like this, but I could see that it's really, really awful. How can I help? So, I mean, how can I help is a really important question that we forget to ask because we're so busy coming in with the help we know we can give.
Right. Okay. So I've asked this question, how can I help? And then my daughter tells me, I don't know. And
often they don't know. And so then I say things like, well, do you want to talk about this? Do you just want to snuggle up and watch TV together? Should we have a Gilmore Girls marathon? You know, should we make some hot chocolate? Like, what should we do right now to just kind of sit with this feeling? I mean, we really have a hard time letting our kids sit with discomfort. And so right now, what we see from my end of the spectrum right now, what we see is that kids struggle with distress tolerance. The minute they feel discomfort, they don't know what to do. It's awful. They want it to go away. But discomfort and stress are part of life. So we have to learn how to sit with it and say, this is awful. It's giving me a stomach ache and a headache. I hate this. I don't know what to do. And then once we get it out loud and we name it, we can say like, well, maybe let's go for a walk, or let's just sit outside for a minute and just let the sun shine on us and like think about how we're going to get through this moment. You know, we can't sweep away their troubles, and we shouldn't, and we can't sweep away their stress, but we can be there and connect with them and say, I get it. This is hard. Let's get outside. Let's get some fresh air and we'll figure this out together.
So what you're suggesting is basically to name the emotion that the kids are feeling, like the stress and the anxiety. And then what I see you suggesting is that you then offer a way that you yourself fix it and something for the kids to try. Like, how do you calm yourself down? Taking a walk, relaxing, watching TV, watching Gilmore Girls, which, oh my gosh, I need to introduce my daughter to Gilmore Girls. You just really
Right. And you know, it's hard because we want to have like these perfect answers for our kids. And just right now, there are no perfect answers, but I also really encourage parents to model talking about feelings and stress and emotions, because we all experience it. And too often we sort of act like we can handle anything. And then that our kids put us on a pedestal and they're like, well, you don't have this trouble. I mean, you're great at handling stress. I'm not. You know how to do it. So I always say to parents, like, say, you know what? And I say this to my own kids. I'll say, you know, I'm feeling really stressed out right now, you guys. I need to sit down and have a cup of tea and read a magazine for 10 minutes and just check out, because I'm stressed out and this is what I need to do. What can you guys do while I do this? And then, you know, talk about also, like, I'll say, hey, my neck is feeling super tight. I know that's because I'm stressed out, and I have a headache because I've got too much on my plate, because that gets kids into the habit of saying, oh, I have a stomach ache. I must be feeling stressed or anxious right now. I need help.
Yeah.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, Aubrey here, and I wanted to share one of my favorite gifts to give during the holiday season, a Storyworth book. It is the most amazing gift ever. Storyworth is an online service that lets you create a special and unique gift of someone's story. I've given Storyworth books to both of my parents, and it has been their favorite gift, hands down. And did I mention it is so easy? Storyworth emailed my parents questions every week that I handpicked from their massive list of questions that they have. All my parents had to do was open their email and answer them. That easy. I asked my dad questions like, did you have any rules that you set for yourself as a parent, which you immediately broke? And he did. I even asked both of my parents, are you more like your mom or your dad? And they shared a lot of really amazing qualities that I didn't know about my grandparents at the time. Then at the end of the year, Storyworth compiles all of their answers, puts them into this gorgeous book that covers everything. My parents love showing us their books, and I personally love getting a chance to read them. With Storyworth, I am giving those I love a thoughtful and personal gift from the heart that preserves their memories and stories for years to come. Go to storyworth.com/NGM and save $10 on your first purchase. That's storyworth.com/NGM to save $10 on your first purchase.
My son is playing a game right now on his computer where he's a thief and the cops are after him. So I'm so excited about this new app, Give As We Grow, where instead of being the quote unquote bad guys, kids are practicing giving back.
That is so cool, Joanne. I really wish that there was something like this when my kids were younger that got them excited about giving back to others and helped them build a better understanding of what it really means to volunteer.
Give As We Grow is the first of its kind free educational mobile app for children ages 8 to 11 that teaches kids via fun, service-focused minigame quests to tap into their unique talents and interests to help others.
And did you know that studies show that there is a biological connection between generosity and happiness, and that volunteering improves people's physical and mental health? I mean, kids who volunteer typically do better in school and are less likely to engage in risky behaviors. And that is something that I think we all want for our kids.
Ready to spark a new movement in generosity? Find and download Give As We Grow for free in the App Store for Android and iOS. And for resources for the whole family, visit giveaswegrow.org.
Yeah. And I really like how you pointed out how it's important for parents to talk about their emotions, because Joanne and I talk about this all the time, how there's this thought process that as a parent, we need to suck it up. You know, It's your job to suck it up and not let your kids see you struggle or anything like that. And I do believe it to a certain point, like we shouldn't be breaking down in front of our children 24/7. But if we keep putting that up, then your children think that there's something wrong with them for having emotions and for struggling. And then they also don't have anybody to look up to that was able to go through this discomfort or this stress, right? So it kind of makes them feel like they're even more isolated.
Right. And also, and I see this all the time where parents, and it honestly falls on moms a lot of the time, I think we can say that, they're going and going and going and pushing themselves to do everything for work, for their kids, for everything, right? They're doing all the things all the time. And then the kids keep asking for more. And they'll say, they never stop pushing me and asking for more. And I'll say, well, when was the last time you set a boundary and said, nope, I'm at my top. This is it. I'm not capable of one more thing today. You need to figure that one out. And they're like, I don't know.
Yes. What you said right there is like a mic drop, because that's exactly what's going on. Like when we as moms don't set boundaries, our kids don't know the boundaries that they can't cross. So we have to be there, and we can say the no without worrying about our first worry, like being that we're disappointing them. Instead, we are showing them, hey, this is the healthy limit that I've set for myself. And this is where I'm not going to go any farther. So I love that, and giving permission moms to set boundaries like that.
And isn't that so important, right? Because if you don't set those boundaries, then your kids, what are they learning? That it's your job to do whatever. And like you said, there is somewhat of a gender bias on this, that it tends to be that it's the female's job to take care of the emotional needs of everybody in the family. And I would hate for my daughter to take that on as she grows up. That's just awful.
Right. Funny enough, I've had 2 kids in the last week say to me, I got yelled at because I didn't unload the dishwasher, and don't think badly of me, but I don't know how to unload the dishwasher. I don't know where the things go. And I'm like, oh, all right. So how can you solve this problem? Well, I can ask my parents to teach me, but I'm afraid to do it right now because they're mad at me for not doing it. So, something we do. And I remember years ago, like why is it that my son can make his bed every day, but my daughter just can't? Like, what is going on that she just does not make her bed? Like, it's driving me mad. And I was like, do you know how to make your bed? And she was like, not really. I mean, I just kind of like shove everything on there. And I was like, great. Okay, we're going to do a bed making lesson and solve this problem. And now it's your job to make your bed every day. So, sometimes we do so much because we're in the habit, and I'm super guilty of it. And I'm faster. I know I can unload the dishwasher faster. I know I can reload it faster. I'm super efficient. So I do things to get things done, but I have had to teach myself, slow down, farm it out, be okay if it's not loaded the way I would load it. Don't, resist the urge to redo it, and just let it be what it is, but teach them how to do things so that they can have some agency and purpose. Because right now, in this stressful time, when kids don't know what to do with themselves, having responsibilities, even if they grumble about it, gives them purpose.
I could not agree more. And teaching kids to do things and backing off of the things that we do, I think it is such an important kind of mind shift that moms could take too. And that really leads into my next question that we ask all guests. What's your favorite hack to make your kids more self-sufficient?
Well, I mean, honestly, the thing I ask kids all the time, and my own kids just start to roll their eyes and laugh when I say it, but when they come to me with a problem that I know they can solve, I look at them and I say it in a kind, compassionate way, but I respond, I wonder how you could solve that problem. I wonder if there's a way to figure it out. And they're like, oh, okay, I have to figure this out. What she's saying is I'm capable of figuring this out. And so they've learned to adjust. And when that's my response to them, they'll start brainstorming, and I'll go, oh, I wonder if that will work. What do you think? Let's figure out if that one will work. What are the pros and cons? So just giving it back to them, bouncing back the problem to them to solve it on their own helps them build coping skills and problem solving skills and just thinking outside the box. I mean, for all that my daughter doesn't like making her bed, she could solve almost any problem with like hangers and tape because she's constantly thinking outside the box of how to fix stuff. So, just handing it back to them and letting them take the lead.
I love that. And I love that it was a compassionate way to have boundaries, right? Like that is a very nice way of saying, no, I'm not solving this.
No, I'm not going to do that.
I'm done for the day.
I clocked out, actually.
We had a situation last night where I probably could have used that exact phrase because we got pizza and the pizza wasn't coming off without like tearing off the cheese off the entire slice. You know how that goes. And my son was just like getting so mad at this pizza. And I knew he could figure it out himself, but I did step in and do it for him. And next time that comes, I'm going to use that phrase. I wonder how you can solve this problem.
I like the stuffing my mouth with food and going, I just wander off.
So what's coming up for you, Katie, that you're really excited about?
Well, getting my doctorate, going back and finishing what I started 22 years ago is exciting for me because as my sister said to me, I'm betting on me. So I'm finally kind of, putting my energy back into me. So that's exciting. And then I have some book proposals I'm working on too, actually. So we'll see what happens. I'm waiting to hear back on those.
Sounds like you're going to have a very busy 2021.
I hope so. I like being busy. I like seeing my kids. I like all the things I do. I could stand to maybe slow down a little bit, but I find that I just get so excited about projects.
Yeah, those are great projects.
Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you soon. I love getting the chance to meet Katie, and I think she had so much great information to share and things that I'm going to do now differently in my own parenting, just from having that short little 20-minute talk.
I know, right? Like, again, I feel like she was right there talking with me with my kids because everything that she brought up are things that we've been dealing with in our home that I kind of saw a little bit of. Now, I think that we're fortunate enough in our family that I don't think it's gotten too far. It's just behaviors that I've seen in the last week or so that I'm like, oh, that's a red flag. I'm going to make sure that I kind of am a little bit more thoughtful of that and moving forward.
Yeah, the stuff that you were talking about before, I mean, we all have that physical stuff. Like I just texted you yesterday about my back pain and how like I overreact to that. Like my text literally to Bree read, my back hurts, normal explanation. I picked up my dog Addie yesterday. She's 70 pounds. She does not go into her crate for bedtime when we have to leave the house. I have to like pick her up sometimes.
She does the sack of potatoes.
She does a sack of potatoes at 70 pounds. So I picked her up and I noticed like a twinge in the back because I didn't pick her up correctly. And I'm like, that would be reasonable explanation. Joanne explanation. I have stomach cancer and I'm going to die. And
because that's just stressful these days.
Right. It's so much stress these days. And like, I have a habit of catastrophizing that anyways, but like we have
the two of us together, we're a pair.
Yeah. And then when you see physical symptoms in your kids, you're like, oh my gosh, do I need to take them to the doctor right now? Like what if this progresses and I didn't catch it soon enough? What if I didn't catch it when it was small? And then it gets really, really big. And this voice just keeps going and going and going in your head. So I love Katie's description of each of those things, the sleeplessness, the changes in eating, and withdrawing from the social situations in extreme ways.
Right. And that's a hard one too, especially with the withdrawing from social situations, because your kids might not get as much social interaction right now.
Yeah. But I love how she said, like, it's okay if they're just playing on Roblox or if they're just texting with each other. Or Among Us, which is we used to be a favorite in my house, and now it's not anymore. But
it comes and goes. Everything ebbs and flows. Like I feel like in this year, we are getting we find something that brings us joy and entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
We consume it a ton because there's so much stress going on. We take something that's good and we consume it, and then it's like, I'm done with it now.
Yeah.
Like I've noticed that, and I don't know about other people, but I've noticed that too with my kids. Like they'll be really, really into something and it seems to be a shorter time span than they used to be into things. Like something might have been like, okay, maybe they were into Harry Potter for like a year or two. And then now it's like, I'm into it for like 6 months and then I'm done and I move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Still, regardless, can't wait to talk to Katie again. Like we have to have her on again.
Yes. She was phenomenal. And hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, can you hit that little subscribe button? And we will have new episodes for you every Tuesday and Thursday. And if you have a few minutes, oh my gosh, we would so appreciate if you could leave a little 2-sentence review. And hopefully we have earned your 5 stars as well. That just helps other people find the podcast and us get this message out to more moms that yes, you can love being a mom again. And the best mom is a happy mom. Take care of you, and we will talk to you later.
Are you looking for something to listen to with your whole family? Then check out 6 Minutes, produced and created by Gen Z Media. With over 200 twisty, cliffhanger-filled episodes, 6 Minutes tells the story of 11-year-old Holiday who is pulled from the icy waters with no memory of who she is or where she came from.
3 years ago, Brinley Pasternak helped the Anders family uncover the truth about Holiday's past. Now she'll need them to help her find the truth about hers. In 6 Minutes Out of Time, the long-awaited sequel, Cyrus Anders is found unconscious near the mysterious Elixir Academy in Florida, and Brinley learns the school may have a shocking connection to her missing mother.
Dive in now and get the most downloaded family audio adventure in history. Follow 6 Minutes wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen early and ad-free with the GZM family subscription.